what inspired me to start Jijenge is in two fronts. The first front was I was just tired of having to see waste and no one doing nothing about it. Alafu mimi mwenyewe I'm among the people kusema serikali inafanya, serikali inafaa. Nikajiuliza mimi mwenyewe nafanya nini ya kwanza. Ya pili, I needed to create a job for myself and to put food on my table for myself and also my friends. That's hiyo ndio ilikuwa the main reason hizo mbili. So for me then, having understood that, the next question was how do I use plastic and make it into something that tackles basic needs. Basic need ni food, shelter, clothing. So nikaona wacha nifanye shelter. And then from there sasa ndo tukaanza within shelter, within construction, what do we do? Nikaona sawa basi wacha tuingie mjengo, na kabla tuingie mjengo tuanze kwanza na floor because that's an easy entry to the market because we've been building, tumekuwa tukijenga the same way. Mimi nilikuwa najua all my life I wanted to be like Manu Chandaria. I always wanted to be in manufacturing. Hiyo nilikuwa najua. Alafu ya pili nilikuwa nataka ku make change. Okay, this might sound idealistic, but I wanted to make change kama Wangari Maathai. So na vile Wangari Maathai alikuwa anaenda ana protest na nini. So for me activism is not my forte. My forte is science and engineering. Gift yangu kwa mkono. So nikasema acha nijaribu kama naweza piga combination ya Chandaria na Wangari Maathai. So I hope niko kwa line, but yes, I've always wanted to be this. Always. I had everything good working for me, but then one day, let me just say, sometimes the day someone understands the reason of the purpose yako kwa hii dunia, it breaks everything. For me, I felt this is my purpose in life and I need to change. So I woke up one day, wrote a resignation letter, and I was like, you know what, let me go and see. It was both the best and the worst decision I ever made in equal measure. When I quit my job, everyone except my family, everyone told me you're crazy. Unatoka aje kwa mafuta? Uende ucheze na takataka. Like, unakipaka nikaambiwa wewe sasa wewe zimeachilia. Nikaambiwa tu wewe Nzambi, wewe you are done. But for me, I'll not lie. Kenye ili sustain me, nilikuwa tunasikia roho inaniambia there is something, just keep on. So for you to start a business, you have to have a degree of delusion. And I'll not lie, it's that delusion that sustained me for a good 3 years. Until I started realizing, oh, actually, the business model can actually make sense. For 3 years, I was surviving on delusion. Because I gave up everything. I gave up my life, I gave up my career. I used all my savings, everything. But let me tell you something. In life and in business, you save yourself a lot of problems if you have a mentor. That is something as a society to negate, but just having an older person like guide you saves you a lot of time. So I have this idea machine, but then when I met my mentor, he makes machines, he's really good. So we designed one, I gave him the design, and then we started making. What I brought him na Kenya tulitengeneza almost two different things. But now I had finished, I told myself, okay, now I need people. Where did I get people? I just told my friend, I'm looking for someone, just literally anyone who's breathing. That's all I need. I just need someone who's breathing and alive. So yeah, akaleta wa kwanza, who's my chief operations officer. And then that one went and referred me to his friend who was in school. They were in the same engineering school. He's now my chief production officer. And then after that referred me to another. So it's just a ripple effect, I'll not lie. At Jijenge, I've hired, the ratio of men to women is about 40% women, 60% men. And the reason I did this was, number one, to be intentional about creating jobs for not just one gender, but also both genders. Number two, right now, especially in this sector, there is ile notion that women can't do it because it's a very labor-intensive industry. So for me, it's more of proving that, yes, there are women who actually can do it. I'll say, please, what I'm about to say, please take it within context. Don't take it out of context, take it within context. In this sector, women are expensive. I'm saying that because I'm a woman, and I'm saying that because I'm an employer. And I can comfortably say hiring women in this sector is expensive. Let me give you an example. If you are to do welding or to do lifting for machines or fabrication, work yenye I'd need, ideally speaking, one man. I'd technically need at least 2 women to do the exact same work, because remember, this sector is very labor intensive. And also there's some degree of technicalities, there's a risk factor to put in place. Because of that, women end up being very expensive. Couple that up with elements of pregnancy, couple that up with other social economic elements, then it becomes expensive. So when you want to create a jijenge brick, you have, ideally speaking, 3-step framework. The first one is pre-processing. Pre-processing is the collection, the sorting, the plastic, cleaning it and making it ready for production. Processing is the actual conversion of plastic into building blocks, and then post-processing is the installation and the building services that comes after you produce the product. So for the pre-processing, we have 3 sources of plastic waste. We have what you call the post-industrial. This you get from factories. We have post-consumer. Post-consumer is what you and I, when you finish taking whatever we are taking, we throw that plastic. And then we have automotive. So automotive is like your car bumpers. If you get into an accident and your car you need to remove your bumper or your interiors, that's what you get. We're also trying to see if we can enter into the aviation and also get the aviation waste, because there's a lot of plastic in the aviation, that like the planes. So once you get that plastic, we clean it, we sort it, we crush it. So we have different types of plastics. So right now here we process 3 types of plastics. So that's HDP, LDP, and PP. We can do a mix, we can do different depending on what plastic exists. From there, we go to the processing where we mix it with sand or glass. So in construction, in the normal construction, we have what you call the Portland concrete. Portland concrete is this, ikoroga tu ya kawaida ya kujenga, unachangarawe, simiti, maji, kokoto, unachanganya. Hiyo inaitwa Portland concrete. What we make is called polymer concrete. So it's something similar, the only difference ni replace cement as a binder na plastic. That's the difference. And then badala ya ballast umetumia tu changarawe peke yake. So we take that plastic and sand, we mix it together, we take it through a production process where it is mixed. Ni kama unapika ugali, unaweka maji na chemka, alafu unaweka unga, alafu unakoroga. Something similar. So you do that, the plastic mixes in a form kitu kama ugali. And then you take this ugali and you form whatever product you have. So right now we are making pavers, but we're also designing to make different products for the agricultural sector. And then now once we finish that, we go to the post-processing. This is now the installation services, the after-use service of that product. So yeah, that's in a nutshell how you make a block. In Africa, we are a huge consumer market. Hardly do we produce things. And I now understand why we don't produce things. We don't produce things because number one, it's super expensive. And number two, it's super time consuming. So just to give you context, it took me about 2 years just to get the right formula. So imagine doing something for 2 years without a single shilling for 2 years. And then it took me another 5 years to get the right business model. So in total, it took me 7 years. Imagine running for 7 years, you're not generating any profits, you're consuming money, and then you're using all that time. Now I understand why. And then number two, in Africa, we are not huge on funding research and development. Out of all those 7 years, the biggest cost was research and development. And what do I mean by research and development? Research and development is basic trial and error. Just try, unanunua chuma, unakata, unatengeneza design, inakwara, unatupa, unachukua ingine, unafanya, change design. So every day, when it fails, you learn one way of not doing it. Now imagine doing it so many times until you know, okay, I know 99 ways of not doing it, so I know there's a probability of getting one way of doing it. All that needs cash. Generating revenue is one thing, breaking even is another thing, and making profits is another thing. Those are 3 different things. For us, it didn't happen at the same time. So the first one was generating revenue. So generating revenue was just, it doesn't matter if you made loss or not, but you sold something to someone and you're like, okay. Someone can actually seize the value and is willing to pay. That for us was in 2020. So I started research and development in 2017. So 2017, 2018, I was just doing research on products, nothing else. 2019, once we finished the product, we realized, okay, now we know how to make 1 block, we need to make 1,000. We need machines. Went to the internet, we didn't find machines. We realized, okay, we need to make our own machines. So in 2019, we made our own machines. And then 2020, on the 4th year, that's when we put the product up there to be sold. Fast forward, 2 years later, we broke even. 2 2 years, so that's about 6 years breaking even. And so now we're working on we are borderlining breaking even to profitability. This is now the 7th year. So the person I was in those 3 segments is not the same person. So the Nzambi, the entrepreneur, when I was starting, I was very optimistic, hopeful. I was driven by desire. The Nzambi of breaking even, that's when I started understanding the business acumen. And then the Nzambi of profitability, I'm now understanding that I need to make what the customer wants. So now I'm less of an engineer and more of a customer care person. Kazi yangu tu ni kuenda kuongea tu na customers. The more naongea na wao, the more najua ni nini nafaa kujenga. But 6 years ago sikuwa najua ni nini nafaa kujenga.